Okay, students, today we're going to do some more multiplying, this time of binomials. Our binomial means two terms. And on the back side, we'll get to binomial times a trinomial. I'm going to do some odds, and then the assignment will be to do the evens. So let's look at number 3 here. Now, the way I recommend to do it is to line it up like multiplication in elementary school. So here you have a minus 3 times a, so that's a 3 minus 8. I do negative 8 times negative 3, that's positive 24. Negative 8 times a is negative 8a. A times negative 3 is negative 3a, and a times a is a squared. In doing this, this lines up your like terms. Okay, and the reason it happens is because they're both in standard form. Both the binomials are in standard form. Now I just have to add straight down. So a squared, negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11a, and 24, positive 24, and there's my answer. So it's just multiplication of integers again. So much just comes back down to integers, you gotta know that. Okay, so that's all these top ones here. You can leave it in decimals. You know, if they give it to you in decimals like 11 here, you can leave the answer in decimals as well. Now, this backside here. This is a special product here. So he says z minus 2x is z minus 2x. That's the same thing as saying z minus 2x squared. You need to know that. Oftentimes they're not going to write it out like this. They'll write it in this form and expect you to know that that equals that. I can write the same thing twice as it is right there. Okay, so there's a special rule that I want you to memorize when you're squaring a binomial. When I say square binomial, that means that you're taking that binomial and multiplying by itself, and that's why there's a squared exponent on it. So the rule is that I take this first term. Remember, there's two terms in here because terms are separated by plus and minus signs. The first term and the second term, negative 2x for the second term, z for the first term. So the rule is whenever I square any binomial, I just square the first term. So z times z, z squared. I multiply the two terms together. So z times negative 2x is negative 2xz. Then I double that. So I just take that coefficient, double it. So it's negative 4xz. And then I take this last term, the second term, and square it, multiply it by itself. Negative 2x times negative 2x is positive 4x squared. And notice I can go right to the answer. That is the answer. That's exactly what I would get if I went ahead, and we'll do it over here. Z minus 2x, z minus 2x. Multiply negative 2x times negative 2x plus 4x squared. Negative 2x times z is negative 2xz. Z times negative 2x, negative 2xz, and z times z, z squared. And I just add straight on down, and I get the exact same answer. So if you need to do it the long way when you square binomial, you'll still get the right answer. You can do it that way. It's the long way. The shortcut is to memorize the shortcut rule. Okay, and then when you're doing it in class for extra credit, those that know the rule, have the shortcut rule memorized, you can go right to writing down the answer. Okay, and you'll be done first. The extra credit, as long as you don't mess up. All right, let's look at a binomial. Remember, that's a binomial, 2 terms, times a trinomial, 3 terms. Okay, and notice how they also show you to line it up vertically. Other teachers teach box method. Some just draw the arrow. Okay, that kind of thing for FOIL if it was a binomial times a binomial. So again, vertical method. 3 times negative 6, negative 18. 3 times 3y is plus 9y. And 3 times y squared, 3y squared. 2y times negative 6 is negative 12y. 2y times 3y is 6y squared. And 2y times y squared is 2y cubed, because we got 2 plus the 1 is 3. Again, I have my like terms. right underneath each other, so I can just add straight down. 2y cubed plus 9y squared minus 3y minus 18 is therefore my answer. Okay. And so even on 19, for example, they write the binomial times the trinomial horizontally. I can just move this right up here if I want to, just like it is on 15, and put that up top and do the same steps. Okay. So that's that side of it. Oh, I think that's both sides, isn't it? No. Okay. That was just the first side. Okay, special products. So here we're squaring binomials. Notice we're squaring binomials all the time on this one. They happen to have one on the other side. Okay, so now I do want you definitely using the shortcut. So remember, x plus y squared. That's squaring a binomial. That's going to give me the first term squared. Here, we'll even put coefficients in there for you. Let's go ax plus by, quantity squared. We're going to square the first term. So ax times ax is a squared x squared. Multiply the two terms together, it gives me abxy times 2 would be 2abxy. And then square the last term. by times by is b squared y squared. So that's what you're going to do on all of these on this page when we get not all of them down to 14. Then we have another setup for 15 through the end. Okay, and these you want to really get down because you want to learn to do this shortcut quickly because you go to Algebra 2, those want to go to higher math, they expect you to have this memorized. Okay, so let's do number 5. 10r times 10r, 100r squared. I multiply the two terms together, that gives me negative 30rs, and I have to double that, so negative 60rs. And then I take the last term and square it. Negative 3s times negative 3s is plus 9s squared. Remember, when I square any term, it's always going to be positive. So I always have to have a positive on this first one and a positive on the last one, no matter what. The middle term can be positive or negative, but the first and last, as I'm squaring those terms, they have to be positives. Okay, so this is all you're doing over and over for 1 through 14. Well, you're doing 2 through 14 even. Okay, now, down here, notice they're not exactly the same. One's a positive sign and one's a negative sign. The rest is the same. That's the only difference on these down here is the positive negative sign. Now, what that does is that wipes out the middle term. Remember, when I square binomial, normally I will always get 3 terms. When I square binomial, not always, but you will always get it. Whenever I square a binomial, I always get a trinomial. Almost every time you multiply a binomial times another binomial, you will get a trinomial, 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. That's normal for any time you multiply 2 binomials together, okay, is to get 3 terms. But there's one special case when you don't, and that's this case on here, 15 through the end. The only way this happens is because one sign is positive, one's negative, everything else is the same. That wipes out the middle term. So now I just have to multiply the two first terms together, 2x times 2x, 4x squared. Multiply the two last terms together, 3 times negative 3, negative 9, and there's my answer. That's simple. So that's called, this is set up, what this is called right here is a difference of squares. That answer is a difference of squares. What does that mean? That means both of these, well, difference means what? Subtraction. There's my subtraction sign. Squares. 4x squared is a perfect square. 2x is its square root. And 9 is a perfect square. Square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so we have a difference, subtraction of 2 perfect squares. And that will always factor into, we'll get into factoring later, this setup. I just take the square root of each number, and one's a plus and one's a minus. The middle term is wiped out. Okay, let's just do one more with fractions. Okay, it's no different, same rules. So I got 4/5 times 4/5 is 16/25, and y times y is y squared. The middle terms are canceled out, so I just multiply those together. Now I multiply the second terms together. M times negative m is negative m squared. Remember, 1 plus 1 is 2. And there's that answer right there. Okay, so that goes ahead and covers turning on the back side. Okay, the top half is squaring a binomial. Bottom half is your answer comes out to be your difference of perfect squares. Okay, you just got to multiply the two first terms together and then the two second terms together, and that is it. The middle term is wiped out. All right, that ends it.